What is up, guys? We are back. Appreciate you joining me once again. Had a good discussion yesterday. If you've been tuning in for all the discussions, you've watched more than, say, one of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That helps me out a lot when I look at my analytics. And it's just something that I appreciate. You know, it's a free service. You don't have to pay anything. The only thing that's going to cost you is 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. You don't ever have to worry about it again. And then it helps me out tremendously if you are enjoying listening to just a guy on his lunch break. I'm not some larger-than-life character extending his gracious hand to help all of you heathens. No, I'm down in the trenches with you. A guy living, breathing, a little bit of laughing, a little bit of loving, a little bit of struggling every day. I'm not going to lie. You know, that's what I do. And then I do this channel on my lunch break. So yesterday when I recorded my video, sometimes I think it has to do with the space on my video, or that it could just be that I have a shit ass Android phone that I haven't updated or gotten a new phone in about 5 or 6 years. It's got a cracked screen and everything. Dude, I'm that dude. I don't give a shit. It does what I want it to do. I can check emails. I can send texts. I can get on social media with it if I desire to. I can do YouTube videos and post. And I'm one of those people that I just don't like change because I'm really quick with this phone. I've had this phone for a long time. So as long as it's working, I'm not one of those guys that just has to have the latest, nicest, updatedest phone. I'm just not that guy. I like, you know, I wouldn't say I'm not at all materialistic. I like to dress nice. I'd rather go out, instead of going out and, you know, buying a new phone for a couple of $100 or $500 or God forbid $1,000 if I got one of the iPhones or something. Instead of doing that, I would rather go on a shopping spree and buy myself some nice clothes and a few pair of shoes. Just the type of dude I am. Let's just get real. But anyway, whether it's that or whether I'm running out of space on my phone, either way, about 10 minutes into my video yesterday, something glitched, and then the audio and the video got off, meaning that the audio was lagging behind the video or vice versa. So a lot of you yesterday, after a few minutes, probably felt like you were watching an old Bruce Lee flick where they're lip syncing because my words were not matching my mouth at all. Sorry for that. But like I said to you guys, I'm just a regular guy. I don't have, you know, I'm not doing this in a high-dollar studio on a $2,000 laptop and I've got all the microphones and was it? No. You don't need all that shit when you're coming on here to talk about mental health and substance abuse. What the hell, you know, nobody cares about that sort of thing. And so, and like I said, I'm just a guy on my lunch break. My lunch break is only an hour. Usually my videos are at least 30 minutes. And then, you know, after I get through with my video, you know, I've got a 6-week-old at home. So I try to give my wife a call, kind of check on him, see how he's doing, that sort of thing. And, you know, kind of touch base with the home front because I am a father of 2 and a husband. So it's one of those things where I knew that it was off. I saw that it got off. But I know a lot of people aren't necessarily looking at the video so much anyway, as much as they're just listening while doing other things. And that's kind of what my intentions were when I started this channel. You know, I wanted to make it something that people could just listen to and binge and listen to the sound. I've been told that I have, you know, I come from a DJ entertainment background. I've been told I have a great voice for this sort of thing. So I'm like, hell, maybe people just like listening to my voice. You know, I try to make it as low as possible, like I'm Barry White, baby. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to be sexy or anything. But I have been told that I'm just good to listen to. So that's kind of what I'm aiming at, you know, when I do these videos. So if it looked like you were watching an old Bruce Lee flick where it was lip syncing and the words didn't match the mouth, sorry about that. But it's one of those things where too late then. You know, sometimes that happens. I've had that happen on one of my other videos before. I did the same shit then. I just left it and posted it because like I said, I do not do edits on these videos. I'm just a guy on his lunch break, living from day to day. And you know, anyway, that's what it is. So, troll alert, troll alert. Yep, that's right. We had another troll pop up on the channel. And you know, a lot of you guys are like, why do you keep giving, you know, stop giving time and attention to the trolls? But there's a reason that I do that. I had a troll last week, you know, jump on and say something, you know, hateful about your babbling is a waste of time, brother. And I said something back, you know, related to that about, hey, is it just your thing to be rude? You know, you really want to be like that, someone that you've never met before, and come on as a blah, 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 blah. The guy actually responded back, and he ended up apologizing to me. And he said something to the effect of, usually when I leave a comment like that, I leave it and wouldn't think anything else about it. But since you've responded to me, I couldn't help but think of how ugly I was to you. So my apologies for my original comment. The guy actually apologized to me. This person who is a troll, who is one of those people that just jumps on random videos and oh, well, blah, 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 and just says something ugly. This guy actually saw the error of his ways and was like, well, maybe that was a little unwarranted, you know, because this guy kind of fired back at me. So I like to fire back at him, man. You know, I'm not gonna make it my life's work. And 99% of the time, I don't ever hear anything back. But, you know, more times than not, unless it just gets too overwhelming and I've got, like, the channel grows and I've got, like, 200 trolls at a time, you know, hitting me every day. Well, when the channel's small like this and I've got time, I'm firing back, baby. So you better have your guns loaded and you better be ready. But so we talked about yesterday, the topic of the video was, why gifted people tend to struggle with substance abuse. It's very well known that some of the most gifted, talented people in history have struggled with drug abuse. Now, am I trying to say that since they're gifted, it's okay what they struggle with drug abuse? No, I'm not. And in fact, I don't know how many talented and gifted people I have known in my life to literally shit their talent right down the toilet, shit their gift right down the toilet because they couldn't stay off drugs. Because they couldn't stay off drugs. This is a known thing. I mean, how many people have you seen do this, including professional athletes? I mean, God, I mean, there's at least one very notable story per few months where some, you know, professional athlete that just has the whole world at his fingertips, has fame, riches, all of this, who just shits their whole life down the drain as a result of, you know, not being able to stay off drugs. So it's a serious thing. And I'm not saying being gifted takes away any personal accountability and responsibility you have to live your best life by not being slave to some drug. I'm not saying that. But anyway, of course you had one troll to pop up and say something idiotic yesterday, so I'm now putting them on blast. And this person says, epic cope. The most gifted people never touch the garbage. Touch in capital letters, T-O-U-C-H. The most gifted people never touch the garbage. Nice try, my guy. Wrong, all in caps again. Like, okay, so I think you're confusing gifted with the most intelligent. I didn't say gifted people were the most intelligent, or I didn't say gifted people always made the best decisions. It's two completely different things. So basically what he's saying is, nah, if you're gifted, you don't make the choice to mess with drugs. You idiot. Bull freaking shit. And I hope that I'm able to really relay to you and translate to you how idiotic and how stupid this is. A gift is something that you're born with. A talent is something that you work hard to maintain and to refine and get better at. So you can be born with a God-given gift that nobody knows why you're born with it. How do we know this? Because we see, you know, 4-year-old kids that can sit down at a piano and play Liberace, and I'm telling you, I don't care how much work you put into it, 99% of 4-year-old kids cannot do that, literally, because you couldn't sit down and force them to do it. What's more is they don't have the desire to do it. So you can't tell me that people aren't born with certain gifts and certain abilities. They absolutely are. Now, can a drug addiction mess up those gifts? And can a drug addiction cause that person to not be able to express those gifts in a worldly environment because they're too busy, you know, snorting cocaine or shooting up heroin or whatever, that their priorities just get all fucked up as a result of the drugs and as a result of the consistent bad decisions, and then their gifts basically just get blown off to the wind? Okay, well, does that mean they weren't gifted in the first place? Does that mean that they never had a gift? I mean, what an idiotic, stupid, jackass comment. Here's the most ironic part about it all. I got up this morning and Lula had made a good comment. Lula, I appreciate your comment, because Lula was kind of the only one that came to bat. She saw the comment and she said something to the effect of, well, then why do you watch these videos? And then she said something like, Corey, don't feed the trolls, with a smiley face. I am bad about feeding the trolls. I really, really am. But listen, when I see somebody drop a comment like that, a lot of times one of the first things I do is I click on their icon, I click on their thumbnail, and I go to their YouTube channel to see, like, who is this? You know, how many subscribers do they have? What kind of channel do they have? What's their backstory to where they ended up on my video throwing salt and throwing hate every which direction, right? Well, what do you know? I click on this person's thumbnail, and you know how if you click on someone's thumbnail, it shows on their page activity, previous activity by that user on your channel. What do you know? This person has commented on one of my previous videos. And let me read to you their comment on my previous video. If you take a big amount, 30 grams per day plus of kratom, you can usually cut your daily amount in half without much effect. I was taking 12 to 16 capsules at a time, 5 times a day. Now I take 7 capsules 2 times a day, reducing daily. While tapering, I've noticed my sleep has improved. Go cold turkey and you won't sleep for a week. Same user, at user-EO4TB1DY7W. See that? That comment I just read to you, right, is the same person who yesterday jumped on as epic cope. The most gifted people never touch the garbage. Nice try, my guy. Wrong. You're a fucking kratom head, jackass. It's right here. It's right here. So, people wonder why I mess with the trolls. For one thing, it's just fun. I gotta admit, you know, for one thing, it's just fun. And I like putting people in their place, you know, kind of showing people the error of their ways. And you're right. Sometimes they don't get it. And sometimes it might be a waste of time. I don't feel like it's a waste of time because I think it's fun. You know, I enjoy it. Because 99% of the time when you get one of these comments It's someone who was completely misguided and misled. For one thing, you can tell by his comment that he didn't even watch the video. Because I was not in any way, shape, or form giving any of the people who are supposedly gifted but had substance abuse issues, I wasn't giving any of them a pass. Well, since you're gifted, it's okay. Or, if you're a drug addict, you must be gifted in some area. I mean, maybe. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't know. You know, I'm sure there are people out there that do drugs because they're not gifted in some area, and they're just trying to take themselves out of their own brain, you know. But it was obvious the person didn't even watch the video, right? And very, very ironic that someone would say something like that. Epic cope. The most gifted people never touch the garbage. Nice try, my guy. Wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Aren't you the same guy that 2 months ago says, I was taking 12 to 16 capsules at a time, 5 times a day. Now I take 7 caps, 2 times a day, reducing daily. Me, I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm doing great. So which is it, dude? You know, are you a hater troll? Or are you one of us? Someone struggling with addiction? I mean, I know the answer. I know the answer. We all know the answer now. What about you? You know, you still lying to yourself? You know, there's a difference in me and you. The difference is, I know what my problems are. I know what my issues are. I get the fuck on here and talk about it daily. And I don't hold nothing back. I used to steal narcotic medications from my parents. Not just my parents. I've stolen them from other people. I can't tell you how many kitchen cabinets I've looked through in my life in my active drug addiction, trying to find opiates and narcotics. I'm that dude. I'm that guy. But I take accountability for it. And guess what? I've made amends because I don't do that anymore. In part, thanks to Kratom. But you know what? I can't even really say thanks to Kratom because I stopped doing that years ago before I ever even knew what Kratom was. So I've moved on past, you know, and I got one thing to say to you, my dude. And I'm not even going to read what your username is again, because what the hell is @user-EO4TB1DY7W? The fuck is that? But at least I'm being honest, you know. And at least everyone on here recognizes that they're not perfect. And if you're being honest with yourself, you can recognize that there are people that have gifts in this world that struggle with substance abuse. And just because you're a person that struggles with substance abuse doesn't mean you don't have any gifts, jackass. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. And I'm just telling you now, if I would have went in and I would have just blocked this guy and been like, oh, troll alert, block, and then deleted the comment, we never would have gotten to have this wonderful, wonderful vindication of this stupid ass troll. So Lula, I appreciate you coming to my back and coming to my rescue and commenting on this. But that's why I feed the trolls. This right here is why I feed the trolls. Because half the time, they're one of us. Half the time, they're hating on their own kind. This guy is hating on his own kind. He's a freaking Kratom user. He's a drug abuser. He abuses substances. And this is the same guy that come on Epic Cope. The most gifted people never touch the garbage. Doesn't even make any sense, bro. Anyway. Doom, doom, doom. Another one bites the dust. Doom, doom, doom. Another one bites the dust. Aye. Anyway. Let's talk about Kratom tapering and Kratom withdrawal and things like that. I love this shit, man. I love it. I love it so much. But hey, dude, you know, I'll pray for you. I'm thinking about you. There's a lot going on up here inside of that guy. To be making a comment about tapering from kratom one day, and then 2 months later, a full-on assault of kratom user and a full-on assault of drug users. Dude, you're a drug user. You know, I mean, that's like turning a pistol on yourself. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, at least all of us are being honest with ourselves. You know. So, if you're taking kratom, you undoubtedly have probably gotten to a point, depending on how long you've been taking it, you've gotten to a point where you've taken too much. All right. So I'm gonna talk to you about a few signs that are going to alert you, okay, maybe I'm taking too much kratom and I need to taper down and back off. Because if you start taking too much, it begins to have counter effectiveness. Okay, in other words, you'll stop getting positive benefits at all, and then the negative benefits will start to come. You don't want that. You want to be able to keep kratom for its positive benefits. That's why it's important. You know, every few months, if your tolerance works its way up to a certain amount, where you kind of start cutting back and tapering down. I'm actually about to do it again myself. Told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I went to a place, they didn't have my capsules. It's all their fault. They didn't have my capsules. That's why my kratom use is through the roof now. No, dude, no. There's accountability on here. There's accountability on here. But what started it, the trigger that started my recent increase, they didn't have my capsules, so I ended up buying kratom powder. And so I just kind of started taking spoonfuls here and there whenever I, you know, felt it. This is my first time ever really taking powder. I had always taken the kratom capsules, and I realize now that the powder kind of wears off quicker too, right? I think it hits stronger. I think you absorb it better. But because it's not in a gel cap where it kind of gets released a little bit at a time, it's one of those things where you feel the effects for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours tops, and then I'm kind of back to where I was before I ever started taking it. With that, I definitely ended up taking more over the past couple of weeks, and so I'm about to actually flip that around and start doing a taper myself. I'm almost finished with the powder. I've got like this much powder left. The place that I usually get my kratom from has the capsules. I went and bought some capsules the other day, so I have capsules again now. So I'm about to kind of start cutting that down again, because I'm getting up around that point where I'm like, okay, I don't really feel comfortable with this. You know, I like to take a somewhat modest and moderate amount of kratom. That's the only way I can feel okay about doing it, right? All right, so 3 of the signs are if you start to have hot and cold sweats. If you find yourself starting to have hot and cold sweats throughout the day for no apparent reason at all, that might be a result of taking too much kratom. This is one of the biggest ones: tiredness, sleepiness. Listen, I'm the type of person that I don't take naps. I don't lay down during the day. I don't sleep. I'm just one of those people. I'm too go for that. I'm too energetic for that. But I've noticed when I started getting way up there, like I was taking too much kratom, I would actually start getting tired during the day. And if I sat down to where I wasn't moving for a couple of minutes, I mean, I'm talking a couple of times actually, not recently, but especially when I was on the MIT 45s, and had so much of the alkaloid in my system, I would find myself like almost dozing off during the day. That's unheard of for me. You know what your sleep habits are. If you're feeling way more tired, way more sleepy, way more lethargic than usual, it could be that you need to back off of your kratom use. Disrupted sleep is a big one. In other words, not being able to sleep a whole night, not being able to maintain a sleep schedule, waking up every couple of hours like, why am I awake? I usually don't do this. It could be because you're taking too much kratom. All right. Now, what to do if you get to the point where you've decided I'm taking too much kratom. Because let's get real, the positive benefits go away if you're taking too much. It's just like anything else in life. If you don't moderate it and you take too much of a good thing, that good thing becomes what? Man, y'all are so smart. A bad thing, right? So when you get to where you're taking too much, you want to do a taper. And I'm not going to go too deep into how you taper. You're basically every 3 or 4 days, whatever you're comfortable with, you're going to lower your dose by about a half gram or a gram, something like that. Or you can do more. Some people do a much steeper taper. You know, like if you're taking 25 grams a day, some people say it's okay to just cut that right in half and you don't have a lot of ill effects from it. But I want to tell you some things that you may experience when you go to taper, especially if you're cutting your dose by, you know, more than a couple of grams at a time. You will experience night terrors. Ooh. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. There's been some times where I've had some pretty serious, very vivid, intense, like scary dreams. I had a dream one time that my son, I got in a scuffle with my son, and my son was like, "Fuck you, bitch." I mean, he was, and grabbed me by my neck, and we were having like a physical tussle. And, you know, I post videos on here of my son. My son is, don't get me wrong, he's a badass in the MMA gym. But my son is a very, very nice, polite, respectful person that does not even curse. I mean, I've never even heard my son say the word shit. I've never heard my son say the F word. I've never heard my son doesn't curse. He's just a very nice, respectful kid that just never gets bent out of shape. You know, I've never even heard him raise his voice and yell at anybody. He's just a very chill, even kill, low key sort of kid. And to have a dream like that about him, it was like, whoa. I mean, I was disturbed when I woke up. You know, my son in the dream was talking to me like he was a freaking gangster from the West Coast, or like he was a mafia boss or something. I mean, it was just, I could hear like this anger and like hate in his voice, and it was just scary as shit, man, because it's so uncharacteristic of who my son actually is in the real world. But that's just lets you know, you can have very lucid, almost scary dreams when you taper too much at a time, and you're kind of and you're starting to kind of have some slight withdrawals. That's an effect of a slight withdrawal, is having some crazy dreams. Restless legs. If you guys have been on opiates for a while and you've tried to stop at all, you know about these. Restless legs is something that might happen. You can take bananas for this. It helps to go run or to exercise. That can help minimize it. Outside of, taking like some sort of benzo, or some people promote that on here. But I'm a type of person, I'm not going to go to a doctor. I don't currently take any sort of benzos. I'm not going to go to a doctor and tell them I'm hooked on kratom and then I'm trying to come off of it. Give me some benzos. I'm just not going to do that. For me, I just kind of tend to sack up, deal with it. It sucks. I'll try to do some, home remedies if possible to lessen the restless legs. But I'm not going to a doctor to get a prescription, because that, for a drug addict, that's not the best move anyway. Because then you go and you get addicted to a benzo. And I've heard the withdrawals from those can be even worse than narcotics. So as far as things you can do at home, eating bananas, taking vitamins, exercising, that can help with restless legs. Hypertrophy. That's the thing where you constantly have to like tense up, and that is a withdrawal symptom that is specific to narcotics. I don't know if there's any other thing out there besides opiates and narcotics that cause this, but it is absolutely one of the worst withdrawal symptoms. You may experience this if you begin to taper and you cut your dose down by a decent amount. Again, it's kind of like the restless legs. They're cold showers, shivering, exercising, taking your vitamins, potassium, magnesium supplements. The folks say that magnesium supplements can help with this. Melatonin can help you drift off a little better if your withdrawals aren't that bad. In a taper, they may not be that bad. If you're doing like a cold turkey, I'm sorry, melatonin ain't gonna freaking work. I'm telling you. A lot of people swear by it, but anytime I've ever done a cold turkey withdrawal, the withdrawals were just too damn bad. Melatonin was shit. It didn't touch it, okay? And I preach about that on this channel a lot. Cold sweats. If you're tapering, you're lowering your dose, you might start having cold sweats. This can be during the day or at night. You start sweating a little bit once you get up under the covers. You have what I call chicken skin, where you look at your skin like, oh, I got goosebumps, but it's not in a good way. Like if your lady whispers in your ear, or, you know, if you're a woman, if your guy whispers in your ear and you get the, ooh, you know, goosebumps. It ain't those kind of goosebumps. This is the, oh, God, I feel like shit, I feel like I'm coming down with something sort of goosebumps, is those kind. Lethargy, just being lethargic, being tired, having, you know, a lot of trouble getting motivated, feeling like you're kind of sick, like you just don't have any energy. And, you know, decreased mood, and kind of feeling of anhedonia and depression. All of that kind of goes in together with the lethargy. You just don't, or the lethargy, you just don't feel like doing shit. And you feel down, you feel a little bit more depressed, your mood is not as elevated. This is something that will fix itself and readjust itself once you give it 2 or 3 days on that particular amount that you've tapered to. So it's not a permanent thing, don't worry. Just try to stick with it, exercise, do what you can to try to get little mood boost more naturally whenever you can. It will fix itself eventually. Loose bowels, that's a big one. Opiates tend to kind of stop up things on here, and it all has to do with the way it attaches to the opiate receptors. I'm not a scientist or a medical doctor, so I'm not going to go too deep into why this happens, but it's just known. For me, it's never really been a bad one. I'm one of those people, I drink tons of water, I eat super healthy fibrous foods, so I always just kind of stay regular. Even if I'm taking kratom, I usually tend to stay pretty regular. Therefore, when I come off of it, as long as I'm still maintaining a healthy diet and eating pretty healthy, my stool might be a little more loose, but it's not a difference in night and day, at least for me. Of course, that also is dependent upon how much you've been taking and how much you're cutting down in your taper as well. So anyway, that's some things that you should know. If you've been taking too much kratom, you need to be aware of that. You need to kind of decrease your amount a little bit, and knowing these things right here should help you with that. So I appreciate you guys listening to me rant. Like the video, comment down below, let me know your story, your experiences with taking too much kratom, coming down off of kratom, and you can talk about the troll too. Put him on blast, man. Let's put this motherfucker on blast. I need to stop cursing so much. Sitting here bragging about how my son doesn't curse, but I don't curse around my son, but please don't ever let him run across this channel, because I'm all up in here just F this and F that, and I'm gonna try to do better, because it's not really my style, guys. It's more like a locker room talk thing for me. And plus the troll got me fired up. But anyway, love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Peace.